Many of us have been there before,
yes.
Locked out.
It's a moment when you're at the mercy of anyone who can help. But before you call the pros, Fox 4's Steve Noviello is in with tonight's Consumer Alert.
A local locksmith is who you're likely to reach out to when you've lost your keys or you've been locked out. And while that's a highly regulated industry in Texas, our investigation found it may do little to protect consumers.
Hi, yes, I locked my keys in my car.
We found out firsthand. It's a tight spot
I locked myself out of the house.
to get out of
I'm in Irving off of I-635.
when there's a lock
How much is it?
you can't get into.
You said you don't know the cost?
But our investigation found consumers should take caution before considering who to call.
We couldn't believe it.
Robin Roskadal says she learned the hard way when her daughter locked the keys in her car during a shopping trip. She looked up a locksmith on her phone and called a local number.
It said $29.
But in the moments it took to unlock the car, the bill ballooned by almost $100.
For him to tell us it was $29 and now he's trying to get $127, I'm not paying him that.
They're just taking advantage of people.
Robert Floyd says he's been there too.
It was $39 for just to show up, and then they said very clearly $15 per hour.
The estimate he got was less than $60 for an hour's worth of work, but the bill was twice that much, $150, despite it taking less than 5 minutes to open the lock.
A reasonable range for unlocking your car is probably $50 to $75.
John Arnold is with the Texas Locksmith Association. He says the charges to both Robin and Robert are outrageous.
972.
But would our own calls come at the same cost? First, we asked Arnold to check the locks on our test cars
This is a pretty standard vehicle here.
and our test house.
You're in the house.
All three locks
There you go. Back on the road again.
opened easily. No tricks and no triggers for an upcharge.
A reasonable price would be $50 to $75.
$54 is the price.
So $19 plus $35.
We were first quoted when we called 24-Hour Locksmith to get into one of our test cars.
Maybe 85. 85?
But once on site, the price jumped. We're told it's because the locks are manual.
But nothing real special or unusual about it.
John Arnold says that's a big red flag. There should be no extra charge.
Labor starts at $35 and then the locksmith will determine from there.
We're told by Run Local Locksmiths that they couldn't commit to a price for what our expert called about a $60 job.
If any company tells you they don't know what's going to cost to unlock your car under normal circumstances, it's probably going to try and scam you.
We were charged $102. What's more, at the time this video was shot, Run Local had an investigative hold on their license and shouldn't have been operating at all.
All right, so 35 plus a minimum of 25.
And when we called KD Locks, located in Irving, the same company Robert Floyd told us about,
How are you?
we were quoted about $60. But the job that took just seconds ended up costing us a bundle, $140, more than twice the base price we were quoted. The locksmith says, sorry, it's not his fault. It's the company who sent him.
I work in a company, that's the company, the radio company told me to charge.
The trouble is, there's often no way of knowing which company you're calling. Take a look at this. When we called 24-Hour Emergency Locksmith, KD Locksmiths showed up. A call to Run Local Locksmiths, and KD showed up again. And when we called KD Locksmiths, 24-Hour answered, and a third company, YNL, showed up. Confused? So were we.
It's a matter of gouging the consumer, getting the money, and going on.
In the state of Texas, locksmiths are regulated by the Department of Public Safety. A license is required for both the locksmith and the company they work for. Work trucks decaled with the company name must also display a valid license number. And locksmiths themselves must carry a copy of their license and identification. But remember Robin Roskadal?
He didn't have identification card. He didn't have anything.
She says her locksmith had none of those things. He arrived in an unmarked car with no license. Even Robin's receipt is barely marked. No company name, no company information, just the amount she owed.
This is not right. I don't feel comfortable with this. I'm calling the credit card company and I'm putting a fraud on there.
Robin also filed this complaint with the Texas Attorney General. Robert Floyd complained to the BBB.
We're having a problem statewide and throughout the United States.
Regulators say there's little consumers can do other than to ask for a price up front and a license on site. Because regardless of who you think you're calling, as long as whoever shows up is licensed, it's all perfectly legal. And companies are free to lock you in.
It is what it is. This is what you owe us. Now pay the man.
To whatever price they want.
In addition to phone calls sometimes not connecting consumers with the company they intend to call, now a new problem is web addresses being hijacked and inquiries being rerouted. That means even online there may be no way of knowing exactly who you'll reach. Your best bet, get a trusted reference for a local company and carry their number with you. I'm Steve Noviello. That's my 2 cents. Spend it wisely.